Namandam, 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 namandam.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2024 Hatsubon Service at Konahonganji Buddhist Temple. I'm Bart Aoki, and I'll be serving as your MC today. We're grateful for your attendance either in person or virtually via Zoom. As a reminder to those of you on Zoom, please be sure your mic is muted throughout the entire service. Obon is a time for rejoicing in the compassionate embrace of Amida Buddha through honoring the memory of our ancestors. Hatsubon is a service held during the first Obon season after the passing of a loved one. This is a special time to reflect upon our lives and how we are continually being influenced by those we hold dearest in our hearts. Attending this service helps strengthen family bonds and makes us realize the preciousness of family togetherness. It gives us an opportunity to understand that in living life there is loss. Although with this loss there is grief, there is also a deep feeling of gratitude and joy as we reflect on how our lives have been enriched by those who have gone before us. Let us begin this service with a moment of silent meditation.
Namandam, 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 namandam.
Reverend Blayne will now chant the Sambujo, or three respectful callings. The chanting of the Sambujo by the minister invites Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and all Buddhas of the 10 directions to join us at this Hatsubon service. It symbolizes our willingness to open our hearts and minds to receive the Dharma. The chanting of Sambujo acknowledges the compassionate workings of Amida Buddha's wisdom and compassion in our lives. An aspiration will be shared by Reverend Blayne.
Please join me in Gasho. We gather in the spirit of aloha to remember loved ones who have awakened in the pure land of enlightenment. We extend our deepest gratitude to them and reflect on how our lives have been made possible and enriched by their presence. During this time of Obon, we celebrate life and the enduring bonds of love which continue on. Obon is truly a gathering of joy in which both the living and those born in the Pure Land rejoice in the universal embrace of great wisdom and compassion. We take time to remember, to reflect, and to reconnect with our loved ones with profound appreciation and joy. May we come to realize the truth of impermanence and deeply entrust ourselves to the compassionate vow of Amida Buddha and live with the Nembutsu in our hearts. On the occasion of this first Obon since their birth in the Pure Land, we remember Gail Brimajim, Vincent Vinnie Chang, Kevin Deguchi, Gilbert Fujino, Will Harada, Keith Hayama, Joyce Ichishita, Reed Ichishita, Karen Ikeda, Akinori Imai, Miyuki Inoue, Mary Iwanaga, Stanley Kaku, Lillian Koshi, Anne Matsumoto, Jeffrey Norton, Merton Ogata, Patricia Owe, Nancy Shibata, Hatsuyo Takashiba, Masakatsu Tsukahara, Clara Uechi, Edwin Ueda, Toyoko Urada, and Fumie Yoshida. May their light and love continue to shine brightly within our hearts and minds, and may we find comfort and peace within Amida's embrace. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham satnam gacchami, dhammam satnam gacchami, sangham satnam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance, the one who shows us the way in this life. I go to the Dharma for guidance, the way of understanding and love. I go to the Sangha for guidance, the community that lives in harmony and awareness. Entrusting in the Buddha of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion, we call the honored name. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Nammanda Butsu. Nammanda Butsu. Nammanda Butsu. Nammanda Butsu.
The Sutra Amida Kyo will now be chanted by Reverend Blayne. Please refer to your program as I read an explanation of this chant. Along with the larger Sutra of Immeasurable Life and the Contemplation Sutra, the Amida Sutra is one of the central texts of Pure Land Buddhism. In the sutra, Shakyamuni Buddha addresses Sariputra and the other disciples, describing the beauty of the Pure Land, the virtues of Amida Buddha as the Buddha of infinite light and life, and urging that all sentient beings who hear this teaching should aspire for birth in that land. The sutra encourages that we should aspire for birth in the Pure Land by saying the honored name of Amida Buddha, Namo Amida Butsu, with a heart and mind of true entrusting. All of the names of the deceased are displayed on individual stands in front of the altar. Offering of incense will be done during the chanting. I will only be calling the names of the deceased whose families are in attendance or on Zoom today. After each name is read, will the family, relatives, and close friends please come up to offer incense? Please use any of the 3 incense burners. Those of you on Zoom, please put your hands together in Gasho as the name of your loved one is called. Reverend Blayne will now commence with chanting the Amida Kyo.
학교 세가 이지 기거 도그원 요다이 비그시 센리야그거 주닝그 가이세 다이아랑가 슈초 지시 도로샤리
In joyful remembrance, we honor today Vincent Vinnie Chang. Kevin Deguchi. Gilbert Fujino. Will Harada. Keith Hayama. Karen Ikeda.
よ実世在保証書小医者が非部国上無山脈主
Miyuki
者
Inoue.
にお五部国道小無山脈道司名画教宇術税書主張改正阿弥陀仏極量温泉変化小差者意を異部国道未部水道小五十有法乱も水未妙音非尿薬千十が同時草門税音社開示年上年仏年法年相死心シャリオン五部国土上寿尿税功徳称言シャリホンお如意運が非仏がご阿弥陀シャリホン非仏ご
Stanley Kaku.
無量小寿報国無償諸下税公ご意阿弥陀ウシャリホン非仏寿命九五人民無量無辺なそぎご五名阿弥陀シャリホン阿弥陀仏上仏二大お根寺ごウシャリホン非仏無量無
Anne
辺
Matsumoto.
諸門弟子海や蘭華非税三十四書の地消防査守薬部尿税シャリオン非部国土上寿尿税功徳将軍ウシャリホン極楽国土
Jeffrey
宗
Northen.
教少女改正阿弥陀地ご中大一生不生
Merton Ogata.
三十少女知識単価意無量無辺阿蘇義五節シャリオン主張門者応答本願願書非国書医者が特用尿税症状善人空営医書シャリオン東全言
Patricia Owe.
年特書非国シャリオン薬善男子善女人門節なみ
Nancy
だ
Shibata.
主持名号脈一日脈二日脈三日脈四日脈五日脈六日脈七日一心不乱五人臨妙十字阿弥陀仏幼少少寿現在言前善人十字
Masakatsu Tsukahara.
即徳往生阿弥陀仏極楽国土シャリオラゲンゼリ公正死後
Toyoko Urada.
主上論税拙者応答本願書非国土シャリオ両が根者
Fumie Yoshida.
阿弥陀仏不可思議愚読闘病薬阿宿微仏趣味相仏大趣味仏趣味語仏妙音仏妙税と語が者主勝仏
We also welcome the families of Reed Ikishita, Akinori Imai, and Lillian Koshi, who have joined us by Zoom. Terry Terada, representing the Konahonganji Kyodan, We'll offer incense in honor of them and everyone we remember during this first Obon. If there is anyone who may have been inadvertently omitted, will the family and relatives please come forward to offer incense at this time?
行直悪性行死難死徳はのくだらん三脈三宝大一切世間世死難死死を税人不正信教医者利欲義書ビク一切世間天にあしらと文部創設安易真実さらいにご仏説阿弥陀経ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダナマンダ。
In remembrance of your loved ones, please rise for the Gatha Namo Amida Butsu. Words can be found on the back of your program and on the screen. Betty Takeoka will lead the singing.
When life is fair and sunlight gilds the day, when fortune smiles
You may be seated. Reverend Blayne will now share a Dharma message.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you for honoring your loved ones during this Hatsubon service. My deepest condolences on your recent loss. It has truly been a privilege to walk alongside each of you during this most difficult and challenging of times. As you remember them today, reflect on how your journey has been since their birth in the Pure Land. May Amida's compassionate embrace give you comfort and peace always. As we begin, please join me in Gasho for an opening reflection. The words of the Pure Land Master Shandao from the Ojo Daisan, the Liturgy for Birth. I take refuge in Amida Buddha in the Western land of utmost bliss. May the Buddha enfold and protect me with compassion and let me multiply the seeds of the Dharma. In this life and in the life to come, may the Buddha always embrace me. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Obon is truly a special time of homecoming. Each year we pause our busy lives to remember our ancestors by setting up colorful lanterns and dancing to the beat of taiko drums, with our hands and feet moving in celebration of their continuing presence in our lives. During this festival of joyful memory, we can encounter their spiritual presence in this eternal present, dissolving the veil of separation that we may feel from their loss. An ancient festival going back over 500 years, Obon is a beautiful celebration of the enduring bonds of love that enrich and make our lives possible. Traditionally, family reunions are held during Obon, which includes both the living and those who have come before us. Graves are cleaned and decorated with colorful lanterns and flowers and food and the occasional can of beer or whiskey or whatever your poison is. And we welcome all of our loved ones home, and we dance together in joyful celebration for the unbroken circle of love and family. At the heart of Obon is a story, a timeless story of love, devotion, and memory. We reflect on these stories each year at the height of summer when we celebrate the fullness of life in all its glory. We dance in endless circles as our bodies tell heartfelt stories of their own under the night sky lit by lanterns. The story of Obon comes from the Ulumbala Sutra, which describes how Moggallana, one of Shakyamuni Buddha's 10 great disciples, suffered over the death of his mother. Feeling a deep sense of regret and sorrow, he worried that her lifelong devotion to him had been a barrier to her understanding and practicing the Dharma. However, the Buddha counseled Moggallana by asking him to reflect deeply upon this, and he came to realize that his mother's devotion to him was based on an unselfish, a pure love, which naturally embodies the Buddha's path. With this profound insight into his mother's life, Moggallana danced with joy as his regret and his sorrow were transformed into appreciation and gratitude for her love, which made his life possible. Moggallana's story offers us a profound lesson about living, that when we love, we will also experience the loss of those we love. This is the inescapable truth of our lives. Through our own stories of love and loss, we come to appreciate the significance of this present life, which is precious and unrepeatable. When we come to realize the numerous causes and conditions that have brought us together, here and now our hearts are filled with great joy, and we can do nothing else but to dance and to celebrate this moment of togetherness. Because of our deep connection with our ancestors, we are enabled to live by remembering them. We gain new appreciation for the unique causes and conditions that sustain our lives. Just as Zen Buddhist teacher Kaira Duolingo reflects, we can't be without our ancestors. And so mindfulness is really honoring where we come from. One of the definitions of mindfulness is being to remember. We can't be who we are without remembering who we come from. where we come from. And mindfulness is about recognizing and being present with what is in this moment. And if we really open up deeply to what's right in this moment, it's also our ancestors. Our ancestors are present in us in every moment. Touching the present means to touch our ancestors. This act of remembering is healing because we realize our ancestors have never left our side as ever-present companions and guides along our own life journey. They live in the dynamic activity of Namo Amida Butsu, which is the world of awakening manifesting in our lives. By being born in the Pure Land and becoming one with Amida Buddha, our ancestors return to work for our spiritual liberation. This is why Nembutsu means to remember or to recall the Buddha. When we place our hands together in Gassho and we say the Nembutsu, we remember our connection to and gratefully acknowledge our oneness with ultimate truth that our ancestors have become part of. These services are a time for us to reflect on the importance of becoming a good ancestor. While we are gathered here to celebrate the lives of our good ancestors, we also reflect on how we can become a good ancestor too. We are links between the past and the future, and each moment of our lives, we are creating the conditions for the future. Our actions in the present moment matter and will profoundly affect all who will come after us. How do we want to be remembered by our loved ones and future generations? We are at such a moment in our history of our nation. As we begin to process this most recent occurrence of political violence, we offer our loving kindness to all who have been affected by yet another act of senseless gun violence. We should deeply reflect on the political polarization we find ourselves in and the ever-increasing rhetoric of hate and acrimony that is rampant in our country. We know that words have immense power to hurt or to heal. How do we move forward with kindness and compassion for each other? How do we live the values that our ancestors have handed down to us? All that's happened in recent years are not the values they taught us. This is not who we are. We are better than this. I have been reflecting on a verse I wrote during the height of the pandemic and in the aftermath of the killing of George Floyd by a white police officer. And I feel these words have new meaning in our world today. I woke up crying Namo Amida Butsu for all who are suffering. I woke up crying Namo Amida Butsu for myself. I woke up crying Namo Amida Butsu for the healing of our communities. I woke up crying Namo Amida Butsu because it's all I can do is entrust. Every day I wake up to the working of greed, hatred, and ignorance in our world. Every day I wake up to the working of wisdom and compassion, which has turned my heart towards justice and love. Every day I wake up to Namo Amida Butsu. Every day I wake up ready to help build the America that should be. Every day I wake up ready to try. And in the days ahead, may we be guided by the working of wisdom and compassion to heal our divisions and to cool the fires of greed, hatred, and ignorance. We are truly the links between the past and the future, and how we rise to meet this moment is of utmost significance. What kind of country do we want to live in? Who do we want to be? Can we become our better selves that our ancestors hoped that we would be? Our ancestors are watching. Our children are watching. We are all one in the dynamic flow of life that has no beginning and no end. And in the Amida Sutra that was just chanted, there's a teaching of Kue Isho, which refers to how we will all meet together in the Pure Land. In our saying of the Nembutsu, we experience Kue Isho, a profound oneness with our loved ones who have become part of the timeless working of wisdom and compassion that sustains our lives. And our reciting of the Nembutsu is an endless conversation with limitless light and life itself. So every Obon, I remember my grandparents, Yasuo and Hatsuyo Higa, and reflect on how they continue to enrich my life. A few years ago, our family sold their house, and I know many people have had the similar experience of having to let go of things that have been part of the family for so long. My grandparents' house was a second home growing up. It was a place of all of our family gatherings and where I always felt safe and loved. Before the sale was finalized, I went home to Hilo to help my dad clean out a few things, and I had a chance to walk through the empty rooms one last time. The kitchen where my grandmother would make nishime and makizushi every New Year's, the worn dining room table where we would gather as a family, the hut house that once held so many beautiful anthuriums that my grandfather raised, and the bedroom where I sat by my grandmother's bedside, holding her hand as she neared her birth in the Pure Land over a decade ago. And in the still and empty house, I offered a bittersweet nembutsu and said thank you, not goodbye, because while they have been physically gone for many years, I continue to meet them in my saying of the nembutsu. In Shin Buddhism, our rituals and memorial services are not for the sake of the dead. They are truly for us, as a time for healing along our journey of grief. These observances remind us that both time and attention together are necessary to heal. And we come to realize our relationship with our departed loved ones does not end, but grows and changes over time, because the love we shared continues on. Observing my grandmother's first obon after her passing was profoundly healing. Taking time to uplift her memory through this ancient ritual was an emotional and spiritual release. Recalling our shared story through the movements of my hands and feet, we danced together as we joined with others in the flowing ring of life. My heart quickened and slowed to the rhythm of drums as tears welled up and nembutsu rose from deep within. I felt like I was finally able to let go after holding my breath for so many months after her death. My sorrow was transformed into appreciation and gratitude through the healing power of time and attention. And my nembutsu was a natural expression of that gratitude, that appreciation, that connection, that love that has never ended. My grandmother and my grandfather and all my ancestors are together with me in the dynamic and inconceivable working of Namo Amida Butsu, which has no beginning or end. During the Obon season, we celebrate life and love, always entrusting ourselves to the infinite light and life of Amida. As our hands and feet move to the beat of drums, let's remember our own stories of love that nurture and heal our hearts as we become one with the music of the universe. And so please join me in Gasho for a closing reflection. A verse from the poem The Four Quartets by T.S. Eliot. Music heard so deeply that it is not heard at all, but you are the music while the music lasts. Entrusting in the dynamic working of all-inclusive wisdom and all-embracing compassion, we call Amida's honored name with profound gratitude, abiding joy, and a heart-centered awareness for the miracle of living. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Namanda Butsu. Mahalo.
Thank you for your Dharma message, Reverend Blayne. Please join me in unison reading of our pledge by reciting the words out loud with me. Words can be found in your program and on the screen. Reaching out to others, I will share a smile and gentle words, just like the Buddha who always calls out with aloha. Breaking away from my greed, anger, and ignorance, I will try to live in peace and harmony, just like the Buddha who shares tranquility and kindness with all. Moving forward from self-centeredness, I will share a life of joy and sorrow with others, just like the Buddha, whose caring heart always embraces us. Realizing that I live because of others, I will strive to live life to the fullest with an attitude of gratitude, just like the Buddha, who promises to embrace us all. Please rise as we will conclude this service with the singing of the Gatha Nembutsu.
Namandab, 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 namandab.
Please be seated. This concludes this Hatsubon service. Here are a few announcements. There will be no Sunday service tomorrow, July 28th. Next Sunday, August 4th, the annual Hiroshima Remembrance Service will be held at 10 a.m., sponsored by the Kona Hiroshima Kenjin Kai. This service commemorates the anniversary of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Any other announcements? Reverend Blayne? Mahalo to Zoom technicians Alan Matsumoto and Joey Guzman, and also to Corinne Chong for being our organist. Thank you all very much for taking the time to honor your deceased loved ones by attending this Hatsubon service. Though no longer physically here, they will live on in your memory and heart forever. We invite all of you to stay for our 2024 Bone Dance and Craft Fair event, which will begin at 5 p.m. today and end at 10 p.m. Please join in on the joyful bone dancing, eat lots of food, and support the many vendors displaying their crafts. There will surely be something for everyone. Okay, now let's all join in on the fun. Thank you.